but my real question is for Professor. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but about the Christian part. I'm just new to American culture. I'm starting to learn.
Dr. Wilson, is that right?
Yeah,
the last speaker?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry to.
No, it's good.
I just been here and started to learn Bible, learn Christian, and I appreciate the way that you think that you love all the people. You like the freedom of speech. But you know what? Most Chinese are really sensitive to the way that if you are not a Chinese, you talk about our politics. That's what I'm really worried about, because you know what? If they didn't learn about Bible, they didn't learn about what you are thinking. And you know the truth is we don't have this high level of democracy you have here. So many would think this would like bring hatred between the people of Americans, and I know everyone I meet already in America is extremely friendly to me, and I trust them. And the thing is, my friends started to think that Americans are like they are doing things to our politics. How can they do such things? You know what? This is what I'm worrying about. Which would I'm a little bit nervous. So
it's okay. If you can formulate that into a question, that would be great.
Yeah. The question is, would you consider the influence among the real people, preventing them to understand each other, because you did some political things to China which they don't want you to do?
Okay.
This question is to Dr. Wilson.
Yes.
So I kind of like rephrased the person just said about democracy, and like when you mentioned America as like a model of democracy, and when you see the American flag in the protest, whatever, and I think freedom of speech certainly it's one of the freedom the democracy, right? But certainly, even if the most freedom country, America, there's some certain things that you can't just easily criticize. For example, race problem, gun problem, abortion, probably. And shouldn't the democracy work differently under different countries' context? For example, what I'm saying is probably like some issue in China, it's probably as the same level as race problem in America. But you guys don't know, you guys don't want to learn, or you guys don't know the differences between each two countries, and you still want to enforce the same model into another country. Would that fit? Or, that's my question. Would the democracy fit? Because he said America has a higher democracy. I would say has a different democracy in different countries' context.
Okay, I think you made your question very clear, and I think you understand the question, right?
First, I need to thank you, all the speakers. And I want to ask Dr. Wilson that I heard that U.S. Senate just passed the Hong Kong Human Rights Bill, or Hong Kong Human Rights Act, something like that. But what made me confused is that I think some politicians use, because Hong Kong is a different, I would say custom area or a tax area than mainland China, because Donald Trump he added tariff to mainland China, but the tariff didn't apply to Hong Kong, right? So the U.S. Senate passed the Hong Kong Human Rights Bill. A lot of critics say that they're gonna cancel the Hong Kong distinct status as another tax area or custom area, will it help to protect Hong Kong people or hurt Hong Kong economy?
Okay, so first of all, let me just very quickly thank everybody for coming tonight on behalf of the Center for Faith and Learning. We're really pleased to co-sponsor this event. Thank you very much. And just to let you know, if you'd like to be kept apprised of our future programs, there's a sign-up sheet outside on the wooden table out there, so feel free to sign up and put yourself on our mailing list. Now, with regard to the questions that I was asked, I think we have to be very careful about ascribing human rights activism and protest to outside agitators. Right? This is a common tactic that authoritarian regimes all over the world use and have used. I am a native of the American South, And the frequent line that was used by racially repressive governments in the American South was that everything is fine here if you just understand our customs and our values and our history and our way of life. You would understand that that's how it needs to be here, and it's just outside agitators that are coming in with their perspectives causing problems. That, with all due respect, was a morally bankrupt response in 1955, and it's a morally bankrupt response in 2019. Now, that's not to say that there doesn't need to be sensitivity to the cultural and historical circumstances of particular places. And addressing one of the questions, I'm very sensitive to the idea that a lot of people in China, because of the legacy of Western imperialism, because of the legacy of cultural domination, will respond negatively to attempts to influence Chinese culture and society coming from the West. But that cannot, in and of itself, serve as a reason for people in the West to simply stay silent about anything that happens in China. That can't be used as just the go-to way to shut down discussion and criticism and debate. So I think we have to be very careful about that sort of thing. But as I said, we have to be sensitive to that historical and cultural legacy. And people who criticize the practices anywhere should do it with a sense of historical knowledge, contextual understanding. People should not speak from a position of ignorance. Last thing, I was asked about, might democracy look different in different places? To a certain degree, obviously, yes. Right? Some countries have presidential systems, some countries have parliamentary systems. Some countries have different fundamental rights that are enshrined in their Bill of Rights. In the United States, we say that the right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right. A lot of other democratic societies don't agree with that. Okay? There are differences institutionally from country to country. But I would point out that the person who asked me the question said, well, look, there are controversial issues in the United States. There's abortion, there's gun control, there's race relations. There's a difference between an issue being controversial and someone being prohibited from raising the issue. All right? I can sit up here today and say anything I want to you about abortion, about gun control, about race relations. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to start pontificating about those issues. Right? But my point is, I will not be punished for whatever position I take. I will not be punished for raising the issue. We have candidates currently running for president in the United States who take the full range of positions on all of those issues. They do not fear governmental sanction. Now, their friends might disagree with them. They might face social ostracism. Their positions might be unpopular, but they're not going to be put in jail. They're not going to be denied the liberty to express whatever positions on those controversial questions they see fit. So I just think I would reject the analogy between the way that some in China would seek to put certain issues completely off limits for discussion and the fact that we certainly, like in any society, have controversial issues in the United States. Controversy is fine and exists everywhere. But censorship and the stifling of debate and discussion cannot be part of an authentically democratic society anywhere. And I would leave it at that.